Welcome back, everybody. It's Tuesday, July 16th, 2024. Born on this date in 1947, former U.S. Secretary of Labor Alexis Herman of Mobile, and in 1958, current Congressman Mike Rogers of District 3. Now, today we'll talk some about the Republican Convention, the Tuskegee Study whistleblower, the tax holiday, Nick Saban, and an Alabama football podcast launching next week. My name's Ike Morgan, and we're down in Alabama. U.S. Senator Katie Britt of Enterprise was back before a national audience in probably the biggest way since her rebuttal to President Biden's State of the Union speech in March. You might recall the Saturday Night Live parody starring Scarlett Johansson. Now, Britt spoke in prime time last night during the first day of the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee, reports AL.com's Mike Kaysen. No surprises here, as Britt mostly stuck to this cycle's campaign topics and her wheelhouse of home, family, and pocketbook concerns. She blamed the Biden administration for the inflation that has prices higher than they were 4 years ago. She said that under Biden's watch, opportunity, prosperity, security, and even the president himself, in a jab at his debate performance, are in decline. But, said the senator, America would get right back on track under another Trump administration. Now, by the way, odds makers are liking Trump's chances. According to the election betting odds website, which averages numbers posted by several live odds trackers, Trump's chances of retaking the White House jumped from 58.2% to 67.9% since Saturday's assassination attempt. In Alabama, by the way, the odds of Trump taking our electoral votes in November's election are at 95.5%. Now, that should be a shock to nobody, but it's noteworthy that it ties us with Arkansas for the highest in the nation. The whistleblower who helped end the Tuskegee syphilis study has died of Alzheimer's disease, reports the Associated Press. The Tuskegee study is one of, if not the most infamous medical research scandals in American history. Beginning in 1932, researchers studied around 400 syphilis-positive black men in Tuskegee to see how the disease would progress over time. Antibiotics were developed and available during the next decade, but that treatment was withheld so that the study could continue. Now, reportedly, this wasn't a big secret inside the medical community. Peter Buxton was working as a federal public health employee in San Francisco in the 1960s when he became aware of the study. He made several complaints over the next few years until the AP picked up the story in 1972. The attention led to congressional hearings, a $10 million lawsuit settlement, the end of the Tuskegee study, and new research ethics rules. Buxton's empathy could have been influenced by his family history. His Jewish family had immigrated to the U.S. from Nazi-occupied Czechoslovakia. He died in Rockland, California. Peter Buxton was 86 years old. Now, even as summertime weather roars on, signs of back to school are creeping up on us. AL.com's Walisha Morris reports that this weekend, from Friday at 12:01 a.m. until Sunday at midnight, is the annual sales tax holiday. Now, that means the state's 4% sales tax will be lifted on qualifying items. Many cities and counties participate as well, taking the sales tax down to zero, but all of them don't, so local taxes may apply. The Alabama Department of Revenue website has a list of participating municipalities as well as qualifying items. They include many kinds of clothes, books, and school supplies. Among the items the state has on the non-qualifying list are hip waders, ballet shoes, and goggles, which might ruin your Friday outfit plans. Also not included, sorry Tex, or belt buckles. SEC Media Days kicked off Monday in Dallas, of all southeastern cities, and present was a new character in the SEC football world, ESPN college football analyst Nick Saban. AL.com's Craig Stevenson reports that when he was prompted by SEC Now host Laura Rutledge, Saban picked Georgia and Texas as a likely pairing in the SEC championship in December. It should be noted that Saban also said, quote, "I believe in our Alabama team too, and I believe in Jalen Milroe. I just think the question marks in this secondary, until those get resolved, it's hard to sort of jump on that bandwagon." Now, if you don't mind, on our super way back retro phone line, we have Alabama college football coach Nick Saban to respond to the predictions made by ESPN college football analyst Nick Saban. Coach, hey Coach, you're on the air.
I don't know, you guys make all these predictions about everything, about guys that are going to be great players that have been here for 2 years and who's going to win all the games, and I don't even know why we play. Why do we even play? Why do we even have practice? Why do we compete? Why do we coach guys? How do they need to improve? I mean, you guys got all the answers to, how guys are going to be, what they're going to do. Sometimes I wonder, why do we play? Why do we even have practice? Because you guys got all these conclusions already drawn about who's what, how good they are, what they can do.
Well, thanks, Coach. We know the media can be infuriating at times. Now, that'll segue nicely into the way we're going to finish the show today. I've mentioned here a few times a new podcast we've been expecting that focuses on Alabama Crimson Tide football. Well, there's a very familiar voice that you'll be hearing on it. You can even call the voice iconic. Beat Everyone is launching next week, and there's a trailer out, so I'll spin that right now to give you some more information.
There's so much to love about being a fan of the Alabama Crimson Tide. The championships, the traditions, and beating the absolute out of everyone. I'm Ben Flanagan from AL.com, the host of Beat Everyone, a new podcast focused on the people, stories, and conversations that Alabama fans care about.
If you didn't go to Alabama, where would you have gone?
Probably wouldn't have gone to school.
Each week, we'll be joined by former players, experts, and beat writers to discuss the past, present, and future of Alabama football. Beat Everyone is also the new home of Alabama radio legend Eli Gold.
Touchdown, Alabama! And the Crimson Tide has once again ascended to the top of the college football mountain.
Each week, Eli will join us to share fascinating and never-before-told stories from his more than 3-decade career as the voice of the Crimson Tide. Subscribe now to Beat Everyone on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Now, that was Ben Flanagan. He's been on this show before, and I'll get him back on to talk about his new venture into podcast land and working with Eli Gold. Now, whether you're Tide or Tigers or Baptist or some combination of those, if you do go over and sign up, and I hope you do, make sure you tell them in the comments that Ike from down in Alabama sent you, just so they remember which side of their biscuits get buttered. Thank y'all so much for listening. We're going to be back here again tomorrow. Until then, y'all come on by and see what we're doing on the internet at AL.com.